Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Welcome back. And those of you that are new, welcome. I only have a small channel. I'm going to make an appeal and make a suggestion here of how the Republicans should proceed concerning the presidential election. Now, try to share this video on every one of your social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere you want, Truth Social, you name it. Share it in your own links if you have your own YouTube channel. I'm going to put a proposal here that I think can save not just the Republican Party, but save the country and its future. These guys are going to be battling it out, and as you can see, we all know that President Trump is going to win the nomination. Whether he's convicted or a court rules in his favor, or the Supreme Court intervenes, all those scenarios, President Trump will be the Republican nominee. And there's nobody that questions that at all. So the next question is, what do we do as conservatives and people that love this country and the Constitution? This is the government the founders warned us about. This is the overreaching of power from the executive into the judicial branches all around the country. Where's the deep red district attorneys that are filing indictments against Biden and Hunter Biden and all of his people? They don't do it, and maybe they should, but that's not the point. This is what the founders were worried about, and this is what they warned us about. The fact of the matter is this: Republicans and conservative people, and even independents, if you're running for public office like these people are, you learn from your people that you're running against. You learn from your adversaries. And the one thing that Democrats are good at and have been good at, and I ran in local elections here in upstate New York. I'm a former Democrat, now Republican. I was on city council in upstate New York in the 2000s for 8 years. The Democrats stick together. They may have fights privately, but publicly they stick together. Think about the cluster blank in 2016 and 2020. The Democrats were just beating each other up. Kamala Harris called Joe Biden a racist right on national television. And it was remarkable to see that all of a sudden Biden wins the South Carolina primary with the help of the congressman there, and everybody dropped out. Well, Pete Buttigieg got a cabinet spot. Whatever the reason was, they all dropped out and allowed Biden to be the candidate because they thought that was their best chance at winning in 2020, especially with COVID and all the rules that were changed. They all stuck together. And I'm sure privately, all those Democrats can't stand each other, or a lot of them. Now it brings us to Republicans today. Like I said, Donald Trump is going to be the Republican nominee for president, period. There is no question. Anybody that thinks otherwise is a fool or is delusional. So here is my proposal. As we can see, the 8 people here that qualified for the debate, based on number of individual donations, there's a bunch of criteria that the RNC had. This is my understanding of the 8 that are left. And as you can see on the right, it's the old Revolutionary War flag, join or die. It's exactly right. I'm calling on all of these candidates, but at least at first, to embarrass the rest. Governor DeSantis and Mr. Ramaswamy get together and say, hey, you know what? We're spinning our wheels, even though Ramaswamy is a great public speaker. He's a smart guy. Governor DeSantis, who I have some, individual problems with, his campaign is a disaster. How is he going to save himself politically in the future? There's only one way. Governor DeSantis and Mr. Ramaswamy get together and say, you know what? Let's have a joint press conference where we both drop out of the presidential race and urge all the other Republican candidates to do the same. And not only are we going to drop out, we are going to be the surrogates for the Republican Party and surrogates for Donald Trump as president of the United States. They're going to tie him up in court through trials and other things. We're going to be out there beating the bushes in his stead. Now, are they going to get the same reaction as Trump? And I'll tell you something. The only reason why Trump lashes out, granted, his personality is not the greatest in the world. But one thing he does, he only lashes out when he's being attacked and he's on the defense. If you just stop, you see Nikki Haley there. Chris Christie, I don't like either. But none of these people are stupid. Mike Pence, who I've got a lot of problems with. Tim Scott's an okay guy. There's some issues I disagree, but he seems like a decent guy. If Governor DeSantis and Mr. Ramaswamy call a joint press conference, now they can invite the others, but if they say we are dropping out, and not only are we dropping out, we're going to be campaigning and defending the nominee, Donald Trump. Now, they're going to say, well, this is all about Trump. It's not. They're going to say this is about our country. And this is about how the Democrats and the progressives have now used the legal system to destroy their adversaries. And the Constitution is hanging on a cliff. Chris Christie's no dummy either. He doesn't like Trump. I get it. Mike Pence, they've had a falling out with Donald Trump a long time ago. But this is not about Donald Trump anymore. This is about the future of this country. Look what's going on in the world. The war in Ukraine. China's on the edge of implosion, economically and socially. And as soon as those two, and maybe even more, drop out of the race, put all their money, as Trump has suggested before, into the RNC. The RNC's got a lot of problems. There's a lot of rhinos in there. I get it. We'll talk about egos for a minute. Let's talk about the Continental Convention. When the Declaration of Independence was written and signed, you don't think those guys had egos? They had huge egos. They make Donald Trump look like a chump compared to the size of the egos, but they all came together because they had a common enemy. The common enemy was a monarch that was taking away their freedoms and rights. Even when they got together after the war and formed the U.S. Constitution, which started really our country, those egos in the room, and there were a ton of them, but they all had the same goal. I'll give you an example. During the so-called Boston Massacre, when British troops supposedly fired on protesting revolutionaries or Americans, as we know them today, it was a propaganda thing, and a British soldier was up for murder, for shooting and killing a protester. None other than John Adams, the most adamant American for independence and breaking away from England that there was in the colonies. No one felt stronger against being part of the British Empire than John Adams. Even he, with a huge ego that he had, my God, he had a tremendous ego, makes Trump's look like nothing, defended the British soldier because the rule of law was paramount over political manipulation, and defended the soldier, and the soldier was found not guilty. That's when you put aside your ego, what you can do, and the soldier wasn't guilty. The RNC, they need to copy their adversaries when things work, i.e. ballot harvesting, GOTV, what they call get out the vote, early voting in states that allow that, and the ballot harvesting in states that legally allow it as well. Take the money from DeSantis, Ramaswamy, and the others. Give it to the RNC so they can pay people to put together a ballot harvesting operation, a voter registration operation, and everything that you need to do to get out as many Republicans as you can next year in 2024. Don't forget, this is also a congressional election year. Put aside your egos, and I know Trump has the biggest ego of them all. I know he's an SOB. I get that. I really do. But this has stopped being about Donald Trump after the first indictment. Please, everyone, if you've listened this far, I thank you. Please share this video where you can. I'm only a small channel, but with your help, this video can get out and maybe plant a seed in somebody's mind. Maybe somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. There's too much at stake. This is not about President Donald J. Trump. This is about one political party staying in power for generations to come, jailing their opponents. Jailing their opponents. Think about that. There's only one way to stop it. Do what the Democrats did in 2020. Swallow your pride, swallow your egos, and think of the country first. Because if the Democrats win the presidency next year and people start going to jail, and they're putting Trump's lawyers are being indicted. So if you ever work for Donald Trump or represent him legally, which is his constitutional right, you'll go to jail as well. This is out of control. They are taking the Constitution of the United States and wiping their butts with it. All they care about is winning. And the Republicans care about principle. I love principle too. And I love agenda items and all those great things. But this stopped being about that after the first indictment. So I'll say it again. Please share this video everywhere you can. I'm calling on first Governor Ron DeSantis and Mr. Ramaswamy and maybe even Mike Pence, but at least those two, to call a joint press conference and even inform the others if they want to come and say, hey, this is bigger than us. This is bigger than Donald Trump's ego, if that's possible. And I'm a Trump supporter, and I say that. This is about our Constitution and the rule of law. These people have to be stopped. Just like the flag you see there. And the revolutionaries and the Americans had it right. Either we join or we die. And they joined together. And one of the biggest miracles in the history of the world to become the United States. And here we are. We are at that edge again. If they go through with what they want to do, it's over for this country, and it's over for the Constitution, and it's over for the rule of law. Think about all the tens of thousands of people that should have been arrested during the rioting in 2020. Thinking about the thousands and thousands of people that surrounded the White House and wanted to burn it down while the president was in it. Nothing happened to them. Slaps on the wrist. Some of them didn't even get fines. But look at the people that walked in the Capitol on January 6th. Yes, some deserve to go to jail, but here we are over 2 years later, no trial. A double set of rules in our judicial system is the easiest way to rip this country to pieces. These people have to be stopped. I call on all the Republican candidates, especially Governor DeSantis and Mr. Ramaswamy, Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, Chris Christie, Tim Scott, all of them. They all got together and did a press conference and all dropped out simultaneously and said not only will we be dropping out, but we're going to be campaigning through next year for Donald Trump as our nominee and show united front. I can guarantee you that you will win. And this is not about getting a cabinet post or anything else or being a VP candidate. This is about our country. And all of you at one time or another, except for a couple there, took an oath, just like I took to the Constitution when I was a councilman in upstate New York. Well, now's the time. Now is the time to uphold that oath, because our Constitution and the future of this nation is hanging on the edge of a cliff. Swallow your egos. I know it's tough with Donald Trump and his personality. Swallow your egos and say the country is more important. You will be surprised what will happen. What will happen? You will receive so much praise, and of course, the left will criticize you, which they will anyway. They will anyway. Learn from your adversaries. Unite together. This has to be done, or this country is doomed. I'll be 67 years old this November. It keeps me up at night and saddens me at the same time that my granddaughter, who's 4, is going to live in the country that's coming unless you stop it. That I see in my lifetime the greatest nation that ever existed fall apart like the Roman Empire did. But you have a chance to stop it. I know egos are in play. When you get a bunch of egos in a room, they bump into each other. I get it. Governor DeSantis, Mr. Ramaswamy, Chris Christie, Mike Pence, Senator Scott, Ambassador Haley, please call a joint press conference. Say you'll give your money to the RNC from your campaigns. And from that day forward, you will be Donald Trump's surrogate on the campaign trail. And the Republicans not only will win the presidency, they'll win the Senate, and they'll win the House of Representatives. And we can finally put these progressives to bed where they belong. They'll be outcasts, and our country can continue moving forward. I beg of you, and those of you that are watching this video, please share this wherever you can. Maybe it's 1,000,000 to 1 shot that a small channel like mine could hit somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows one of these people. But it's worth the risk. It's a lottery ticket, to be sure, but somebody has to win it. Share this video and have this idea spread everywhere you can. It's up to you. No one is going to do it for you. Just like the Revolutionary War flag here. Join or die. Until the next time, God bless, goodbye, and good luck.